it will be like backslash p, and then in the HTML backslash HTML. Okay, so in the JS file you need to mention in the JS file, so it will be like name. Okay, name equals to something. Okay, అర్థమైందా? So this is a binding variable. So if you mention the value of this particular name, okay, that value will be displayed in the UI, in the HTML tag. This is called, if you mention any value within the braces, that is called binding variable. అర్థమైందా? So this is how we need to showcase the binding variable. And another one would be, how do you display the object? Okay, so for object notation in the JS file it will be, so how do you denote variable name? I mean binding variable always come from the JS file. It should be under parenthesis. Okay, between the flower bases, the variable name, this means from the JS file it will fetch the name value and display in the HTML tag, HTML file. Okay, అర్థమైందా? And another one would be like, for example, if you want to mention multiple files, okay, if you want to display the multiple variables, it will be like name something, age something 35. So likewise you can add it here. Okay, multiple variables display, multiple binding variables you can display like this. Okay, age. అర్థమైందా? This is called binding. What is binding variable? Interview question. Binding variable is a data which is passing from JS file to UI, JS file to HTML file. Okay, we can denote it within the flower braces. Okay, within the flower braces. Okay, so this means the age value which we are getting from the JS file. Okay, and then how do you notate the object notation, object declaration? So for object declaration, so what I'm doing here in the JS file, it will be like something constant employee equals to, so this will be like this. This is called object notation. For example, name colon, what is the name? Okay, yeah. Comma, age, the 35, comma, salary equal colon something integer value, right? Something like this. So this is called object notation. If you want to declare object in JS, it will be like, so constant variable name, okay, object name equals to, so what are the fields? So in this employee object we have name, age, salary. Okay, so those how you would display within the HTML. Okay, same like HTML, you can take HTML. So here employee dot name, employee dot, అర్థమవుతుందా? Employee dot name, employee dot. So if you want to get the data from object notation, it will be like this. Okay, అర్థమవుతుంది చెప్పేది? So it will be like what is the age and salary.
JS లో ఆబ్జెక్ట్ ని ఇన్స్టెన్స్ ని క్రియేట్ చేసి దాన్ని HTML లోకి పాస్ చేస్తున్నావా? ఎంప్లాయీ డాట్ నేమ్, ఎంప్లాయీ డాట్
yes ఎంప్లాయీ డాట్ నేమ్. సో JS లో మనం ఇన్స్టెన్స్ ని క్రియేట్ చేసి ఇన్స్టెన్స్ లో వాల్యూస్ ని అసైన్ చేస్తాం, డైరెక్ట్ వాల్యూస్. ఓకే, సో దట్ విల్ బి referring in the HTML employee dot object dot field name, object dot field name, what is the value. Okay, అర్థమైందా? And then so how do you iterate the array? Okay, array declaration. So for example, array declaration with like so even tri countries. Okay, countries equals to, it will be in array notation. Okay, so in country I can able to display India, comma India, USA, comma like France. Okay, so for this, how do you iterate, how do you display this array of values in the UI? Okay, so to display array of value, array of values, so in the HTML here what you need to do, just in the HTML take it as a template, if template for equals to, what is that, the value would be like this. Template, so what are the values? Countries, you need to get the countries, so each value we need to make it as a key. Okay, key, something you can mention item. Okay, so here backslash template, here you need to display something like this paragraph. Okay, so what is that? Item dot value, item dot value. Okay, so it will be something, so for each, all countries will be under countries variable, so that for that we need to declare one variable called item. Okay, with this value, with this item, each value we are iterating within this for loop. Okay, so item dot value, అర్థమైందా? so this will be to iterate the for each loop. Okay, list of values if you want to display in the UI. Okay, so now what we discussed about binding variable as well as object notation. How do you declare the object? Okay, and then you declare array of declaration. So how we can able to display the array of values by using the for. Okay, అర్థమైందా? with the key. So in the key, each item will store item dot value. So this is the notation of iterating the for each loop values, list of values, array of values. So let me open the. So always it should be like this. What is that for each loop? So for each, so okay, template for each we need to it should be like this. Okay, for item, this is the syntax, very important. Okay, how do you iterate the list variables in the UI? Okay, if they ask about this thing, you need to write a query like this. Okay, I mean you need to write a HTML code like this. Okay, so always in the template for each, so here cities, right, I'm taking as a countries. Okay, countries, and then take it as a whatever item values be your wish. Okay, country, and the display value would be with key we are displaying, so it should be like this. In the p value, for each key it will display the value. For example, each country, right, India, key is the India, value also India. Okay, so it will be displayed like this. Okay, so here what we need to keep, we need to keep it as India, country. So country value, so for each all countries will be under this countries variable. Okay, these countries, for each one we are identifying as country. Each item value, key value is the country, that key is country here. So what is the value for India? Key we are displaying as India, as well as value also India. Okay, so that list declaration, array declaration in the JS file, it should be like this. So we mentioned, right, cities, we mentioned about this one. This is the array binding. Okay, and then so object binding already we discussed. Employee, so what are all the name, salary, city. Okay, each value. So how we can able to iterate those in the HTML? Employee.name, employee.salary, employee.city. And then another one would be the reactive. Okay, what is a reactive? For example, very important. So when value change, for example, here we are displaying in the value, right? Okay, we are displaying name in the where we are displaying here. For example, suppose I'm displaying count as count equal to 0 initially. Okay, something on click, this dot count plus plus. That means, so whenever I click on this button on click, always the latest value will be shown in the UI. Okay, so in the HTML it will be like HTML backslash sorry, here we need to give it as a template, right? Always we need to use template. Okay, in the HTML file always we need to use template. Okay, inside this will be p. So what is the count? Count is the binding variable \p, and then let's take lightning button. Lightning button on click, handle click. Okay, so label equal to what is the name? Click to increase value. Okay, అర్థమైందా? సో ఈ బటన్ మీద క్లిక్ చేసినప్పుడు ఆన్ క్లిక్ ఆల్వేస్ what it will do, handle click. So always it will increase the value, it will show it in the UI. Okay, so when you click on this, click to increase the value, this is the button name. So when you click on this, it will always increase the value in the UI. So here we are not changing anything, that is called reactivity. Ardhamainda? That is called. So automatically when value change in the back end, automatically updated value will be shown in the UI. Okay, updated value will be shown in the UI. అర్థమైందా? సో ఇప్పుడు నేను అవి రియల్ టైంలో చేసి చూపిస్తాను. మన 3 వాల్యూస్ 3 సినారియోస్ చూద్దాం ఒకసారి. ఓకే, సో బైండింగ్ వేరియబుల్, reactivity, object notation, array notation. Okay, how to display array values in the UI, how to display object values in the UI, as well as how to display the binding value and how to display the reactive values. Okay, అర్థమైందా? So now what I'm doing, I'm going to take so if you want you can create a different one. Okay, అర్థమైందా? So in the hello world here, what I'm doing, you can see here, I can display the paragraph. Okay, array of, binding variable name. Always variable names would be in the small letter. Okay, you should not do it as a capital letter. Variable name. Okay, starting value \p. In the hello world, what I need to do here, you can mention name equals to whatever you want. Okay, so now what will happen, this value will be displayed in the UI. Okay, these are binding variable. For name we have given Mastan, so this name we referred in the HTML. Okay, HTML as name, you can see in the UI. So let me open any one of the record and see whether the value is getting updated or not. Control Shift R. చెప్పింది అర్థమవుతుందా? సో ఇక్కడ చూసారా మస్తాన్ అని వచ్చింది. ఓకే, ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ instead of that I can use same thing within the dev. I will take this within the dev. Dev means it will a separate line. Okay, అర్థమైందా? Control X and use it here. So Control Shift R. Yeah, you can see, right? Somewhat some adjustment. Okay, and then this called binding. Okay, so now what I'm doing here, I'm going to create list of variables. For example, name, age. What is the age? Age 35. Okay, and then salary equals to so if you mention this, these we can able to display here. For example, here I'm going to display what is that? Age, right? Age, salary. Always we need to mention, denote with the small letters for the variable names. See, if you can see in the UI, you can able to see Masan 35 9000. Okay, అర్థమైందా? Here you can mention like the HTML, you can mention like name. Okay, name colon what is the value, age, colon what is the value, same like salary. So if you save this, we will get the label names also. Okay, these are all direct variable, different variables to display binding data to display in the UI. Okay, so it's came, right? Otherwise, so now what I'm doing, I'm going to display as object. Okay, so for object, how we need to display? For example, object, I'm saying student, student equals to what are all the name colon what is the comma age, what is the age, something 19. So display was tracked. 1 second. Okay. And name is department colon something CSC. Okay. So this is the object notation. So for this object, how do you query within the object HTML? Okay. So here I'm taking something. So I'm taking paragraph slash 3 object display. Okay. So how it will be like, so directly you can use what is the notation?
స్టూడెంట్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ లో సేవ్ అవుతుంది కదా,
Student
స్టూడెంట్ డాట్ నేమ్ అది స్టూడెంట్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ లో సేవ్ అవుతుందా?
స్టూడెంట్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్, ఐ మీన్ స్టూడెంట్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ లో సేవ్ కాదు, జస్ట్ మనం ఇక్కడ బ్యాక్ అండ్ డిఎంఎల్ ఆపరేషన్స్ ఏం చేయట్లేదు, జస్ట్ జేఎస్ నుంచి డేటాని డిస్ప్లే చేస్తున్నాం. అర్థమైందా? జేఎస్ లో ఒక ఆబ్జెక్ట్ ని ఇక్కడ వాల్యూస్ అసైన్ చేశాం. ఓకే, ఒక ఆబ్జెక్ట్ కి సో 3 ఫీల్డ్స్ ఉన్నాయి ఆబ్జెక్ట్ లో. ఏమున్నాయి ఇప్పుడు ఈ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ లో ఉండే డేటాని మనం యూఐలో డిస్ప్లే చేస్తున్నాం. ఇక్కడ బ్యాక్ ఎండ్ నుంచి ఇది తెచ్చుకోదు. ఓకే, దీస్ ఆర్ ఆల్ ద స్టాటిక్ నోటేషన్. అర్థమైందా? Static value, what are all the values that you mentioned in the JS file that will be displayed in the UI. Okay, through the binding variable.
UI లో డిస్ప్లే అయ్యేదానికి మాత్రం యూస్ చేస్తాం.
అవును, అంటే ఎలా మనం యూఐకి ఎలా డేటాను పాస్ చేస్తున్నాం JS నుంచి, అది అర్థం కావడానికి ఇది చెప్పింది. అర్థమవుతుందా? నెక్స్ట్ స్టూడెంట్ అనేది మనం బ్యాక్ ఎండ్ లో డేటాని బ్యాక్ ఎండ్ డేటాకి పంపించి అక్కడ ఇన్సర్ట్ చేయాల్సి వస్తుంది. ఓకే, లేకపోతే బ్యాక్ ఎండ్ డేటా నుంచి తెచ్చుకొని ఆబ్జెక్ట్, ఐ మీన్ త్రూ అపెక్స్ ద్వారా తెచ్చుకొని ఇక్కడ చూపించాల్సి వస్తుంది. అది వేరే. ఫస్ట్ మీరు బేసిక్స్ ఎలా మనం JS ఫైల్ నుంచి ఎలా మనం HTML కి డేటాను పాస్ చేస్తున్నాము. ఓకే, ఈ బేసిక్స్ అర్థమైతే తర్వాత మనం మెయిన్ ఫంక్షనాలిటీలోకి వెళ్తాం. అర్థమవుతుందా? సో ఇప్పుడు నేనేం చేయాలా? స్టూడెంట్ డాట్ student dot name, and what is the other one?
student dot age,
student dot age, and student dot department. Student dot department. సో డైరెక్ట్గా మనం ఆబ్జెక్ట్ నుంచి ఎలా డేటాను డిస్ప్లే చేయాలంటే డైరెక్ట్గా ఆబ్జెక్ట్ డాట్ దట్ పర్టికులర్ ఫీల్డ్ నేమ్, అర్థమవుతుందా? ఆబ్జెక్ట్ డాట్ దట్ పర్టికులర్ ఫీల్డ్ నేమ్. సో నౌ go to your component and verify. చూసావా ఆబ్జెక్ట్ డిస్ప్లే, వాట్ ఈస్ ద వాల్యూస్? సో అశోక్ 19 CSE. ఓకే, ఆబ్జెక్ట్లో ఉండే వాల్యూస్ని మనం డిస్ప్లే చేస్తున్నాము, అర్థమైందా? సో ఫర్ దట్ యూ కెన్ యూస్ ద సేమ్ notation. Okay, so same like name, for student name you can use name, age, here department. So this is called object notation and how to display the object values in the UI. Okay, same thing will be applicable in the real-time scenarios. If you want to display some object data, you need to use like this. అర్థమవుతుందా? So here for that mostly we will use lightning input, lightning output, those kind of scenarios. Okay, those are all different, I will tell you. So this is just basics how we are displaying the data in the UI by using JS. Okay, Control Shift R. It will be like this: name Ashok, age 19, department CSE. So now we want to display the array of values. How do you display the array of values? So what is the array notation? In this, how we need to declare array? For example, like cities, take a cities equals to, so array notation would be in the square bracket. Okay, like you can mention Hyderabad, comma, Chennai, Bangalore. Okay, so this array of values, how do you display within the Salesforce UI? Okay, so for the cities, how do you display here? You need to use template
for each.
Template for colon, template for each. What is the array? Cities. Okay, and then for item, right? Item is CI city. So in this backslash template, within this what we need to do? We need to display
Key.
We need to iterate, right? So what is the syntax to iterate. So syntax will be something p dot here. What is the key? Key equals to city, comma, within the flower braces CATY. అర్థమవుతుందా? So what was the mistake here? Compilation failed. Okay, for each cities key value source. Okay, elements within the iterator must have a unique computed key value. Okay, so what is the key here? So we need to check the syntax, how to iterate the for each loop. How to iterate? Always it should be in the array binding for each item city and city. What is the issue here? Template for each for item also city we used. What is the issue here? Item also cities for each, and within the p what is the value that we need to use? P equal to p. Yeah, same thing that we use, right? What is the issue here? We use template. Okay, so missing key element inside for iterator. Okay, maybe because of this. So I'm going to remove this. Or Control Z. Here key equals to city. Let me check. Yeah, so that is the issue. So always each dev, right, each and every value it will create a dev tag. Okay, so if you are not mentioned this key, it will throw an error. Okay, now it has been successfully Control S. So it has been successfully Control S. So here object display, what is this? Another one would be like, what is this? array display. Okay, array display. So now if you go to Salesforce and verify, so the cities which are available under JS, that will be displayed in the UI. Control Shift R. సో ఈ బేసిక్స్ ఎన్ని బాగా నేర్చుకున్నారంటే ఆటోమేటిక్గా మీరు LWC కాంపోనెంట్ కూడా రాస్తారు. ఓకే, యూనిట్ ప్రాక్టీస్. చూసారా, అరే డిస్ప్లే హైదరాబాద్, చెన్నై, బెంగళూరు. ఓకే, అర్థమవుతుందా? సో అరే నోటేషన్, అరే వాల్యూస్ని నువ్వు ఎలా ఇటరేట్ చేసి యూఐలో చూపించాలా. సో ఇవన్నీ మనం రియల్ టైం ఎగ్జాంపుల్ చేసినప్పుడు మీకు యూజ్ అవుతాయి. ఓకే, అరే నోటేషన్ ఎప్పుడు యూజ్ చేస్తాము? ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ డేటా టైపులు డిస్ప్లే చేసేటప్పుడు ఏం చేస్తాం? లిస్ట్ ఆఫ్ అకౌంట్ రికార్డ్స్ని డిస్ప్లే చేయాలా. సో అప్పుడు ఫర్ ఈచ్ లూప్ యూజ్ చేయాల్సి వస్తుంది. అర్థమవుతుందా? సో అట్లాంటి సినారియోస్లో. ఓకే, సో ఆల్ ద రికార్డ్స్ విల్ బి ఇన్ వన్ array variable. So through that array variable you need to display the data in the UI. Okay, so now we'll check the reactivity. So what is reactivity? We'll check it. So to check the reactivity, whenever a variable changes, the UI updates automatically. Okay, so let's take count. Okay, let's take count. What is the lightning button? We need to use it in the, here we'll take one more, like reactivity. Okay, so here I'm displaying what I'm displaying. I'm displaying what is this? Count. Okay, so I want to count. For this I'm doing lightning button. I'm displaying one more lightning button. LIGHT lightning button. Lightning button label equal to, what is the value if you want to show, like anything for the understanding here. Incremental, what is that? Increase. Button name would be label would be increase. Like click here to increase count. Okay, so this is the button label I am keeping on click. So what is the event I am using here? On click. So on click, so handle handle click. So for the handle click, so on click means this is the event. Okay, so for the event name we are keeping handle click. Okay, so here in the JS file, what we need to do here, declare one count variable. Okay, count equal to 0. Initial value would be 0. So when I click on this, so control Z. What is handle click? So in the handle click, what I'm doing, this dot, always in the handle click, this dot count plus plus. Okay, that means when you click on that button, always it will increment one value. For example, initially is 0. When you click first time, it will be 1. When you click next time, the value would be, count value would be 2. Okay, likewise it will come. Okay, so this means, so here so output will be like this. This keyword, right, explain why we need to use this one. So this dot count plus plus, without this count, it refers to the local variable. Okay, not the component property. So this means always X is the current component's property. So if you don't mention the this, that value you cannot able to track in the UI. Always you need to use this so that you can able to get the latest value of that particular property in the UI. Okay, X is the current component's property. So if you are not mentioning this, it refers to the local variable, not the component property. Always we need to use the component property to get the latest reactive value from the JS. అర్థమైందా? So here I saved it. What happened? So no matching closing tag. So in the HTML, there is no matching closing tag for this lightning button. Okay, what we need to do, backslash lightning button. Okay, so that it won't throw any error. So now deployed, we'll see in the UI. Control Shift R. ఇక్కడ చూసారా, initial value is count 0. Okay, click here to increase the count. Okay, when I click on this, Control Shift R. What is this? Just I'm removing this div tag. We'll see how it will be. Okay. Reactive data. Handle click. So see here what I mentioned, handle small click, right? Small c. Always it will follow the here what we mentioned as capital letter. That is the reason it is not working. Okay, so always you need to mention proper method names. Okay, అర్థమైందా? So JavaScript is a case sensitive. Okay, case sensitive means whatever you mentioned in the action name in the JS also it should be the same name. Why? Because it is because of capital letter it is not working. Okay, so if I now refresh this page, so now click on this value. అర్థమైందా? సో క్లిక్ హియర్ టు ఇంక్రీజ్ కౌంట్. ఒకటి ఇంక్రీజ్ అయిందా? నెక్స్ట్ టైం క్లిక్ చేస్తే 2, నెక్స్ట్ టైం క్లిక్ చేస్తే 3, నెక్స్ట్ టైం క్లిక్ చేస్తే 4. అర్థమైందా? ఆటోమేటిక్గా రియాక్టివ్ వాల్యూ. అర్థమైందా? Okay, by clicking on that particular button automatically it will increment the count value. So this is all about today's session. Okay, please practice from your side and ping me if you have any doubts in the WhatsApp. Okay, I will share you with this particular document. అందరికి అర్థమైందా? Say yes or no. Okay. Yeah, thank you, team. We'll catch up tomorrow. I'm sharing this document to you. Try to execute the remaining scenarios and try to practice.